Welcome back. Well, it is day 38 of the government shutdown, the longest shutdown in American history. It is severely impacting the travel industry. Today, the FAA will begin reducing flights at 40 major airports across the country. Watch.
There is going to be a 10% reduction in capacity at 40 of our locations. The administrator is going to tell you that this is data-based. This is not based on what airline travels, has more flights out of what location. This is about where is the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure. It's going to lead to more cancellations. We're going to work with the airlines to do this in a systematic way. We are concerned about that. But we had to have a gut check of what is our job. Is it to make sure there's, minimal delays or minimal cancellations, or is our job to make sure we make the hard decisions to continue to keep the airspace safe?
Meanwhile, we are being told bipartisan conversations are underway this week. They've been held to come to a deal that would fund government with long-term appropriations bills in exchange for a vote to extend Obamacare tax credits. Joining me now is Georgia Congressman Richard McCormick. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. The Senate expected to do another vote, a test vote today on a new interim spending bill. Can you tell us about that and what your expectations are?
Right now, I have very low expectations. It has not been a reasonable conversation, as you know. To do this shutdown, that's a record shutdown on a clean CR, it's just ridiculous. I mean, this clean CR, to be clear, is what the Democrats have voted for all along. That's their funding from COVID level. And they want to shut down the government to squeeze the people more on their taxes. They keep on saying that this is a free. This is going to supplement. Supplement by who? Somebody's got to pay for this. This doesn't come out of magic air. And realize that the insurance companies are making 230% more profit since before the Affordable Care Act. That's where it's going. That's why people like Ossoff and Warnock received the most money of anybody in Congress and the Senate in 2020, almost $1 million. This is where the money's going. We know where the kickbacks are.
So, I mean, what is going to happen to be the catalyst to stop this, to get people back at work? This is seriously impacting travel now, and that means the economic macro story will also get impacted. So what's it going to take?
We're being held ransom right now, and I hope that Schumer's coming to his senses, because it's going to get really painful in the busiest travel week of the year coming up very soon. People are trying to buy Christmas gifts. I think the pressure from the people is ultimately going to get us back to the table, but I hope we don't bend, because if we bend and we yield, they'll do this every single year from the minority to get what they couldn't get when they were in the majority, and that would be a travesty.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, everybody's digging in. At some point, the president is the president. You have the majority. The Republicans, don't you think at the end of the day, you may get blamed?
We might, but here's the thing, Maria. If we give in to what they want in the minority, we'll never be in power again. We won't. I mean, and if we can't do anything when we're in power, then why even be in the majority if we're going to give them what they want in the minority? This is literally standing and messaging on the point that's going to form the future of America. If we continue to make this into a single-payer system, which they're trying to do, with the worst possible design, where you're basically blowing up insurance and pharmaceutical companies, this is the biggest lobbying in D.C. If you give in to this pressure, we'll never have power again. And mark my words, they come back into power, they may very well stuff the Supreme Court, add states. We may be in big trouble. We keep on giving in.
Meanwhile, President Trump continues his work. He's, of course, traveling the world, doing all these deals with countries across the world. And yesterday in the Oval Office, striking a deal with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk to cut the price of weight loss drugs. Watch this.
Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are committing to offer Zepbound and Wegovy at most favored nations rates for American patients. This will slash the cost of Wegovy from $1,350 a month to ultimately $250 a month. Just as significantly, Medicare and Medicaid will finally cover the cost of these weight loss drugs for millions of patients suffering from obesity. Co-pays for Medicare patients will be as low as $50. This is tremendous savings.
Congressman, your reaction?
Well, as an ER doc, I'm glad to see that America's taking fitness very seriously. But remember that it's not just a drug that's going to make you healthy. It's not going to increase your cardiovascular health. It's going to make you maybe skinny, but you're going to lose muscle weight too. We got to do this the old-fashioned way and get out there and put some miles in, actually get to the gym, increase your bone density. This is not magic. Now, when it comes to drug prices overall, we have a lot of work to do still. It can't be just this one drug. It has to be all kinds of drugs. We've been pillaging the American people by the pharmaceutical industry for a very long time. It's not fair that we pay more than everybody else, especially when we're doing protectionist type laws. We need to be competitive with the market and allow people to get to the drugs that they need on a daily basis, including insulin, which we shouldn't have to put a cap on. We should have fair, competitive marketing. When Canada still, even after a cap, has much cheaper insulin by almost over half, actually. That's just not right. We need to be more competitive in this market so we can actually have the American people benefit.
Well, I like what you're saying, and we should point out that you are or were an emergency physician, emergency room doctor, before you actually went into Congress. So hearing your thoughts on the backdrop of wellness and these GLP-1 drugs is really important to us. You're saying it's not just a pill to magically have you get healthy and lose weight. You need to do other things as well, like diet and exercise, like weightlifting.
It sounds so old-fashioned, I know, and it's incredible that we keep on turning back to something magical. This is why those crazy diets have never been long-term, and I know this is going to help with the obesity epidemic. We're actually, for the first time in many years, seeing a reduction in obesity, but we're still up near 40%. I mean, that's atrocious. We have access to a road. Just buy a pair of tennis shoes, get out there and walk. Put some work in. It doesn't take that much effort, but you got to do something. And if you just lose weight, you're going to be skinny fat. You're not going to have any muscle. You're not going to have the cardiovascular health that you'll need for a long, healthy, exuberant life. And that's what this is all about. Yeah. I know it sounds basic, but it's always the truth.
Of course. No, and I appreciate that coming from you, sir, as a doctor yourself. Real quick, Congressman, before you go, what's the most important impact from this government shutdown that you think we're going to feel?
I think it's going to be in travel right now. I think also in SNAP and WIC benefits, when you talk about people who don't have alternatives. A lot of government workers, they'll get credit. They'll get a loan for free, well, not for free, but without interest. But when you look at people who have to travel and get places during the busiest week coming up, it's ridiculous. This is going to be unsafe. And I tell you what, if somebody has a plane crash, you know the finger pointing will be extraordinary.
Wow. Congressman, it's good to see you. We'll keep watching your work, of course. Thank you. Richard McCormick joining us this morning in Georgia. We'll be right back. Stay with us.